Swinging a ground ball, stabbed by Folk. He has it. He underhands to first, and the Boston Red Sox are the world champions. For the first time in 86 years, the Red Sox have won baseball's world championship. Can you believe it?
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Fenway Files. So, baseball season has not started yet. We are like 2 weeks into spring training, and there has been some controversy with the Boston Red Sox, not necessarily with the team, but with the team's franchise player being Rafael Devers. So, unless you have been living under a rock, you are well aware that Rafael Devers is arguably the worst defensive third baseman that baseball has seen since the turn of the 21st century. Rafael Devers, simply put, should not be the Red Sox third baseman going forward. Now, that's not to say that he shouldn't be the Red Sox DH going forward. His offensive stats are out of this world, and I will get into his stats in just a second. But there's a lot to get into in this video. I want to make sure that this video is relatively short. So I'm going to start off with why Rafael Devers is even on the Red Sox to begin with, his contract extension, why he gets paid so much money, and how we got into the situation that we're in now. So, let's just go back in time. 2018. Red Sox are the most dominant team in the history of the sport, in my opinion. Offensively, anyway. We win 108 games, win the World Series without a problem. We have Mookie Betts, Xander Bogaerts, JD Martinez, Andrew Benintendi. The list goes on. Offensively, we were absolutely stacked. And Rafael Devers was a big part of that team. He was young, offensive threat, up and coming. He was supposed to be the best third baseman of the future going forward. Right? We won in 2018, and in 2019, we were one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball. We fell off a cliff. And you want to know why? We stopped spending money. What happens when you stop spending money? You don't get free agents. What happens when you don't get free agents? You have bums playing for your team. So, one of the big question marks going into the offseason of 2019 to 2020 was what is going to happen with Mookie Betts, because his contract was up. He was looking at free agency going forward. Were we going to extend him? Were we going to keep him on the team? What was his future going to be? The exact same question was being said about Andrew Benintendi, about Xander Bogaerts, about JD Martinez. The Boston Red Sox were at a crossroads. We could either stick with that foundation, that homegrown, drafted foundation, or do something else. Now, at the time, Dave Dombrowski, the ownership of the Red Sox, they knew that investing in that homegrown talent, Mookie Betts, Xander, Benny, JD, Devers, was going to cost a lot of money. What did I say the Red Sox stopped doing after 2018? They stopped spending money. So, what ultimately ended up happening, and it's a little bit more complex than what I'm going to make it out to be, big problem being what happened during the COVID-19 pandemic. Mookie Betts wanted to be a part of the Red Sox going forward, but he also said that this was a business. So he wanted to make as much money as he could, and rightfully so. He was arguably the best player on the planet. I mean, the hardware he won from his 2018 championship was out of this world. I mean, if there's an image out there, you can Google search it, of opening day, him walking out, and it's just trophy. It was insane. So, we don't extend or re-sign Betts. We don't do the same thing for Xander. We let Benny walk in a trade for players that ultimately don't really matter too much. JD Martinez goes to free agency. We lost our entire core of our 2018 championship outside of one player. Because if we lose in the span of 3 years, Mookie Betts, Xander Bogaerts, JD Martinez, and Rafael Devers, heads would roll down Yawkey Way. There is no way that you can lose all 4 of those players. So when we extend Rafael Devers, essentially what was 2 years ago now, on February, I believe it was the 11th, I'm double checking. Come on. January 11th of 2023, we gave him $331 million for 11 years. That is, up until this point, still the largest contract in the history of the Boston Red Sox. AAV, lengthwise, and overall money. Or not AAV, I'm sorry, ignore the AAV. Lengthwise, in the amount of years, it is the largest contract in the history of this organization. And this organization is over 110 years old. We re-signed him because we did not have a choice. It's not because, well, you can make the argument that we wanted him to come back out of Xander Bogaerts, Mookie Betts, JD Martinez, Rafael Devers. Devers is the second best one. If it was up to me, I would have Betts on this team over Devers, but that is a conversation for another day. Devers is on this team, signed that extension for $331 million for 11 years because they had no one else to turn to. If you don't make that extension, you lose your job, okay? Chaim Bloom signed that extension. Chaim Bloom is no longer the president of baseball operations for the Boston Red Sox, and Alex Cora made that very clear recently. So, that explains why Devers gets signed. Now, why did he get paid so much? Because he's one hell of a good offensive player. He is arguably one of the best top 10 offensive players in the league, and for his age, in the top 5. If you look at offensive weapons under the age of 29, he is arguably one of the top 5. Okay? So I'm going to pull up his Savant page really quick because his offensive stats are out of this world. So I'm going to say a bunch of random stats. It's probably not going to make sense, but I'll try to break it down and make it a little bit more simple. So his batted run average, he is in the 86th percentile. The higher the number, the better you are. And this is as of 2024, when he had a down season playing with essentially one fucked up shoulder. His expected batting average, 85th percentile. His expected slugging percentage, 94th percentile. His average exit velocity, 96th percentile. His barrel percentage, or how often he swings and the ball hits the juicy part of the bat, 88th percentile. How many times does he hit a ball over 95 miles per hour? 95% of the time. Or I'm sorry, 52% of the time puts him at the 95th percentile. He does struggle with the strikeout. He's striking out 24.5% of the time. That's 14th percentile. I'm sorry, 33rd percentile. He does, this past season, he walked a lot more than he usually does. He is now up to the 85th percentile. When you look at his Baseball Savant page, it is a lot of red. And what you want is a lot of red. If you look at Juan Soto's, it's basically 100% down the board. So his basic, generic, back of the baseball card numbers, I'm going to go through the last 3 seasons. In 2022, he hit .295, which is fantastic, 27 home runs, and he slugged .521. So overall, that's really good. 2023, his average dipped down a little bit, but he hit more home runs, meaning he is swinging a little bit harder. He had 33 home runs, hit .271 with a .500 slugging percentage. So because you swing a little bit harder, you have a little bit more of that K percentage, a little bit more strikeouts. Your slugging percentage is going to go down. In 2024, he was hurt for, I will make the argument the entire season. If you go back to the Mariners series at the beginning of the season, he clutched his shoulder, swinging out of his shoes, and he was never the same player. His stat line, 272, which is a literally 1 percentile above his 2023 season. 28 home runs, so it's a little bit lower. And he had a .516 slugging percentage, which is his highest since 2022. Out of all of those, there is one thing that has been very consistent. His on-base percentage. Now, if you like the movie Moneyball, you pay people to get on base. You get on base, you score runs. His on-base percentage has never dipped below 350. Career, he is at a 345. Since 2022, his OBP has been 358, 351, 354. Basically, consistently 350 on base. Meaning almost 40% of the time, Rafael Devers is standing on one of the bases on the base path. Offensively, you will never be able to make the argument that he is not a damn good hitter. What I will tell you, and I will make the argument, he is not a damn good fielder. On that same Baseball Savant page, his fielding percentage is horrible. When I tell you it is horrible, it is his worst statistic category out of everything on his Savant page, including his sprint speed. Now, Rafael Devers is 6 foot, 240. Okay, not very fast. His running percentage, his running stats are better than his fielding stats. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say he's overweight. Maybe he could lose some pounds. It'll help him defensively, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's obese. That's not my business. His range, his range is -6. That puts him at the 8th percentile, meaning that 92% of the league has a better range than Rafael Devers. And one of the things that was awesome about Rafael Devers coming up through the minors was his arm strength. His arm strength has now dipped below 50 percentile. He is at 48.7 average throw velocity, which puts him at 48% at the 48th percentile, meaning that 52% of the league can throw the ball harder than Rafael Devers from third base to first. All that being said, those are some advanced metrics. Let's get into the basic stuff, okay? If I can find it. One of the telltale signs of how bad a player is defensively is his errors and how many errors he has. Rafael Devers, since he entered the league in 2017, well, I'm not going to count 2017 because he was a rookie. Since 2018, consistently, from 2018 to 2024, he has led all third basemen in errors, okay? From 2018 to 2024, 24 errors, 22 errors, 14 errors, 22 errors, 14, 19, and 12. Now, the 12 errors from 2024 is a huge decrease from the previous season. However, he didn't have 30 games played from 2023 to 2024. In 2023, he had 153 games played and 19 errors. In 2024, he had 138 games played. Like I said, he was hurt. He still had 12 errors. Simply put, Rafael Devers is a very bad defensive third baseman. There's no way to sugarcoat it. Now, what's really strange about Rafael Devers is the fact that he can make fantastic plays that most third basemen can't make. Now, does that mean he's a good defensive third baseman? Excuse me. No. Because he can't make the routine plays. He can't make the little dribbler up the third base line, barehand throw to first base. Now, don't get me wrong, barehanded plays are really tough. Let's just say he tries to get his glove out in front of it. He still can't do it. There's a play. We were basically tied in the bottom of the 6th. I forgot who we were playing against. I apologize. Bottom of the 6th. Our opponent had the bases loaded. A routine dribbler to Rafael Devers. He throws it over the third baseman's head, 2-run score. So, how do the Red Sox feel about this? And one thing with Rafael Devers, his overall metrics, if you simply look up on Google, is Rafael Devers a good defensive third baseman? The answer that comes up is no. So, where does that leave us going forward in this conversation? How do we get to this point? Why are we even talking about it? Well, there's a lot of controversy going on because the Red Sox finally put their sack on the table and paid $120 million for Alex Bregman, who I have loved. Even though he was on the Astros during their cheating scandal, I can't blame him personally because he wasn't the mastermind. But he is a fantastic defensive third baseman and a very good offensive weapon. Overall, I would make the argument that Alex Bregman is a better overall player than Rafael Devers. Now, why is that important? Because Rafael Devers is refusing to move off of third base. Now, that's really weird coming from what is supposed to be your franchise player. So when Alex Bregman came through the system, he was a second baseman in college. He was a shortstop in college. When he was drafted by the Astros, he was put at third base, and he has done phenomenal at third base. 1 second. So when you pull up Alex Bregman's exact same Savant page and you look at his fielding, his range is in the 91st percentile. He is better than 91% of the league, okay? You go from being in the bottom 10% of the league to being in the top 10% in the league. Now, one of the downsides with Alex Bregman is his arm strength. He is lower than Rafael Devers in overall arm strength. He is averaging 80.7 miles per hour from third to first. However, his range is the thing that matters in this conversation. Not to mention his chase percentage, his whiff rate, and his K percentage are all ridiculously higher than Rafael Devers. He doesn't strike out. He doesn't swing and miss. He doesn't chase pitches that aren't even in the zone. And he hits balls squared up, meaning that he makes solid contact with all of his at-bats. So, going forward, the Red Sox are left with a decision. We just signed a third baseman. Are we going to play him at second base? Because second base, it has been a massive hole for this team over the past, I want to say, almost 8 years, ever since Dustin Pedroia has been out of the league. Thanks, Manny Machado, by the way. So the conversation that is going on at Fenway is who is going to play third base, Alex Bregman or Rafael Devers. Now, if you play baseball or if you have played baseball in the past, baseball players have one goal, and that is winning baseball games. Team first mentality. Why do I bring that up? Well, Rafael Devers had something very interesting to say about playing a different position than third base. So here's what, I'm going to speak over it, but here's what he has to say.
So are you saying if they ask you to DH, you won't do it?
No.
Can you expand on that?
I played third.
So, isn't it their decision though? Like, isn't it the Red Sox decision, or is it a mutual thing, or?
¿Cómo fue?
Que si en final es la decisión del equipo, que donde ellos quisieran que tú jugaras.
No, es mi decisión. Yo juego tercera base. Yo no puedo. Esa es mi posición. De allá ellos sabrán lo que van a hacer, pero mi posición es tercera base.
Yeah, like I said, my position is third base.
So, Rafael Devers literally says, one second. Pardon the interruption. What is happening? So, Rafael Devers literally said, my position is third base. Now, Rafael Devers is not the manager of the Boston Red Sox. Alex Cora is the manager of the Boston Red Sox. So, why is it significant that Rafael Devers is playing third base and refusing to move? Because that is supposed to be your franchise player. You gave him $331 million two seasons ago. He does not have a team-first mentality. He has a player-first mentality. He has said in the past, I signed that extension to hit homers. Okay, guess what? Do it at DH. Rafael Devers playing DH will literally solve every single problem that we have defensively. Okay? So, how does this contrast to Alex Bregman's comments on playing third base?
He wanted to be the third baseman yesterday.
No, I'm super excited to just be his teammate. He's a great player. I think everybody in this clubhouse is worried about winning, and whatever it takes to help the team win, that's all I'm focused on. And I'll play wherever AC tells me to play.
That last thing was extremely important. I will play wherever AC tells me to play because he knows damn well who makes the damn call on that. Alex Cora. Okay? They have a relationship dating back to their time with the Astros. Sorry. They have a relationship dating back from their time on the Astros, which is awesome. However, he knows the only way for us to win as a team is if I do what is best for the team. He just got here, and he is already a better leader than Rafael Devers, in my opinion. Now let's look at what Cora has to say, because Cora says some interesting things also. Now Cora says a lot of stuff. I'm going to try to get to the important stuff.
Like I said a few days ago, like decisions are going to be made here about roster construction and what we're going to do in the future, and we're going to make sure we have the best team possible out there. And he has a lot of pride. We know that.
Best team.
He feels like he's a third baseman. He's going to work out as a third baseman, and then we're going to make decisions accordingly. But I think here it's not about Bregman or Devers or Cora. It's about the Red Sox, right? And whatever decision we make is for the benefit of the team.
Whatever decision we make is for the benefit of the team. Here is what I think is going to happen. Alex Cora, the week before opening day, is going to walk Devers into his office. He's going to hold his hand and say, hey, we're going to pay you $35 million a year or whatever he's making AAV to play DH. If you don't like it, you're going to sit on the bench. There's no reason why Rafael Devers should be touching third base in Fenway or in any other ballpark unless it's because he hit a triple or he hit a home run. He should not be the third baseman for the Boston Red Sox. Alex Bregman should be the third baseman for the Boston Red Sox, simply because he is the better overall defensive player than Rafael Devers. Now, some people are saying, oh, it's being totally blown out of proportion. We're in the middle of spring training. Rafael Devers has yet to play a game for the Boston Red Sox yet in spring training. He has not fully recovered from his injury last year. There's also some stuff going on. Wilyer Abreu also has been sick, so there's other players who have not come back yet. But it is really interesting that Rafael Devers has not played a game yet, because when you look at what Alex Bregman did in his first game, In 5 innings, he was a triple shy from the cycle. His first at-bat in a Red Sox uniform landed in the stands. He hit a home run, a double, then a single. He was literally in 5 innings. Now, I know it's spring training, but still, a triple away from the cycle. Okay. This is going to be the last thing I say about this. Rafael Devers should be the Red Sox designated hitter going forward. Alex Bregman should be the Red Sox third baseman going forward. Simply put. Now, what happens with Masataka Yoshida, who has basically been the Red Sox DH since last season? Trade him. I'm not going to get into trade predictions right now because really they don't matter. I'm not the GM or the president of baseball ops. But I know one thing for damn sure. Rafael Devers is not a good third baseman, meaning he should not be on third base. Those are my thoughts on the Rafael Devers, Alex Bregman, Alex Cora controversy. I apologize. I wanted to make this very brief. It did not end up that way. I'm hoping that the 3 audio clips I put in here all worked. But you get the gist of what was really said. Long story short, Devers refused to switch positions. Alex Bregman says he will play anywhere on the field necessary in order for the team to win. And Cora said team first, not player. So whatever best 9 I can put on the field is going to be the best 9 that gets put on the field. So if that means that Devers gets put at DH, then so be it. I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your day, and go Sox.